Hello everyone, I'm Dijan. Welcome to my YouTube platform. Today I will be continuing a conversation on the 5 R's that are leading us towards a life by design that feels successful inside and out. And we are reaching the R number 3. The second R of R5 for success inside and out is relating. And esoteric teachings explain certain things beautifully. In terms of this relating to life, they described 4 main paths that we need to balance out to have a fulfilling life. One path that we need to accomplish is Artha, the sense, the purpose of our life, having a goal, having even physical, material goals in life. The second is Dharma, the sense of purposefulness, to have this feeling that I am here for something, I am meant to be serving in one way, my gifts and talents are to be dedicated to the benefit of all. We may not think in those words, but there is still this purposefulness urge in all of us. Then Kama, which is the path of pleasure, enjoyment of life, and ultimately Moksha, the path of liberation, the spiritual connection. So if we are having these 4 paths on our lives, then life is lived in a balanced way. And I love this philosophy because when we put too much attention in one, the other goes astray. So it gives a nice framework of how to evaluate where we are in our life. And I like that. I like frameworks. And when it comes to relating, this is so important to have this balance in these 4 main chapters, if we can call it that way, how we relate. First, I'd like to start with the relation to the self. This is the foremost relationship that we need to put an effort, because no matter what kind of a developmental context we had, every single one of us have some pains and sorrows and traumas and so under our belt. So the relation with the self, the love for the self, the care for the self is definitely a priority. And it's a multi-level relationship. First, it's the physical body. How do I feel in my body? Do I feel energized or mostly fatigue? Do I go into experiencing things, or am I more withdrawn with my physical energy? Do I feel heavy or light? How is my metabolism? How can I adapt to change physically? What are my dietary cravings? How is my sleep? There are so many different factors that are indicators of a balanced physical body versus an imbalanced one. And one of the priorities of my work is actually finding ways with you that works the best to bringing balance into the body. For me, an improvement of my relationship to my body, coming from the mind to the body, works best when I do a very self-paced, very personalized yoga routine, or when I go to massage. I have my tips and tricks that work for me to come into my body. And what I found out after seeing thousands of clients is everybody have their own way. So the self-care routines as prescribed may work for you or not. Some people get more anxiety than calm using certain techniques. So what is right for your physical body in terms of the many different aspects, exercise, lifestyle, diet? And I find it's really easy to improve the relationship when we start from the hard, core, gross, bodily level, and then go into emotions and the mind. And that comes as the second layer. How are you relating to your emotions? Are you giving yourself permission to experience a wide range of emotions? Do you have a healthy expression of them? And are you getting captivated by your emotions, or are you more in command of your emotions? Are they serving you, or do you serve them? So my work also involves in finding out our inner landscape in terms of our emotional being. And that then comes the most exciting part for me, because I'm really fascinated by the mental relating. How are we relating to our mind? You know, and I love going to it from a very scientific brain and neuroscience perspective, but also from the really very profound, very deep knowledge and embodied experience of the esoteric teachings of meditation. You know, one says around the wiring of the brain and how we can change that and how we can address that to create a totally different mindset that leads us towards a very fulfilling success. Whereas the other helps us immensely to find out the difference between the daily operations of the mind and the deeper insight, again, which leads to a more aligned way of walking the path of life. And then ultimately there is the relation to the macrocosm, there is the relating to the other sentient beings, there is the relating to the self, feeling grounded and established and connected in the self, and that is the spiritual connection. And here I don't like to go with dogmas, I don't like to go with the structures of systems necessarily. It's more about exploring our unique way, your unique way of feeling spiritually connected. And this is a primary need of humanity, whether you are following a spiritual tradition or not. This is like in the Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. You know, we need to feel spiritually connected. But our language of connection can be very particular, can be very unique. And that may lead to the misguidance that we don't actually feel connection, or we don't believe in anything, or we feel we are alone, and many other stories that our mind can generate. So, bottom line, relating to oneself is a very, very important aspect of the work. But of course, this doesn't exclude the relating to the others. Relationships with other beings are amazing resources for us for healing. Amazing resources for us to have healthy mirrors in our lives, to show up more authentically, to show up more in our truth. And do we relate from a place of presence, or are we mostly reacting to people around us based on old, previous negative experiences? Do we have a more loving and caring attitude in our relationships, or are we coming from a place of competitiveness or frustration? Do we have a more positive approach towards solving problems in our relationships, or do we immediately want to cave in or fight a huge battle? So all of our attitudes in our relationships are indicators around how we are relating to ourselves and life at large. And that is a very, very important aspect of reflection. So relating is a big R that needs to be worked with, that needs to be worked through, to be able to live a life by design. I hope you have enjoyed this conversation. More is to come on my Women Who Thrive YouTube channel. Thank you for your attention, and please don't forget to subscribe using the buttons in the corner, and also feel free to leave comments below, also your suggestions about topics that you would like me to cover.